All right. Well, thank you for coming to Nights with Alice Cooper. Our studio is here in New York. And of course, we're here to talk about the Book of Souls.
Uh-huh.
Um, I think the word concept album, obviously, Seventh Son, albums like that, you are a little more distinctly concept. This is a double album, your first ever.
Yeah.
And how would you, I know it's hard and hateful to encapsulate, but uh, how would you describe this album?
Um, I think it's a wonderful journey. I really do think that it takes you on a journey, but it's not linear. It's not story driven. It's not, it's a collection of personalities, with these songs. Um, and sometimes more than songs. I mean, they're sort of musical events, more than just songs, and that's what it is. Now, because you've got to come up with a concept for the stage show. You've got to hang your hat on something. Always looking for how we're going to do an Eddie and things like that. That tends to be the conceptual bit, and that's where the Book of Souls, the title, came in, and we discussed that. I mean, and Steve and I talked about it. I've got a suspicion it was in Helsinki, and I think it was Helsinki, and Alice was actually on the bill with us, and we were hanging out before the show for quite a long time, and that's when I chatted to Steve, and we were talking about the opening track on the record, If Eternity Should Fail, written for a solo album, demoed for a solo album, given to Steve. He loved it, and he said, "Oh, I really love that song." And there was another track he wanted for the album as well, called Nightmares, but unfortunately that one was a co-write, myself and Roy Z. And he said, "Oh, we can't have that," So I went, "Oh, okay, fair enough." So it was just the one, If Eternity Should Fail. And I said, "Yeah." I said, "What are you going to call the record?" I said, because I mean, I was thinking of calling my provisional solo record If Eternity Should Fail. And he went, "Yeah." He goes, "I've got this other thing called the Book of Souls, which is also like about Mayan culture." And I went, "Oh, there you go. Yeah, I like that." I said, because straight away you've got, you know, pyramids galore. You've got a bit of jungle. You've got Rod is immediately going to want to tear the heart out of something. Beat, squirt, squirt. Plus, what an amazing Eddie you could construct and create, and you could kind of widen it out. It doesn't. You don't have to be slavish like you're in a museum, like you're in some Mayan miniature Smithsonian sort of environment. You could widen it out so Eddie has this kind of shaman quality, shamanic quality, which I like because it kind of resonates a bit with what I do on stage, because you are a bit like that on stage, or I feel like that sometimes on stage, that you're an intermediary between one world and another, between the audience are in one world, the band are in their world, and as the singer, frontman, whatever, your job is to kind of bring the two worlds together, but not get them tangled up. Keep it under control, without without people realizing that actually they're in a safe place. That you keep it all in a safe place, but let everybody feel out of control. Um, and so that's the way I feel often on stage. That's the kind of role that you do. A bit tricksterish, bit all those sorts of things. Um, and we thought if we could do that with Eddie, that would be so cool. So that's the background to how the cover started to evolve. And without being a concept album in terms of lyrics, you can see how certainly one or two of the lyrics that we have got might fit very, very loosely into some sort of concept, but it's so loose that it's not worth calling a concept album. For me, a concept album is one that has a beginning, a middle, and end, has a story. It is a sort of a theatrical piece from one end to the other. That really is what I would understand as being a concept album, and this is definitely not one of those.
Based on what you just told me, I love I'll pronounce it wrong, shaman, which of course I first heard about through Jim Morrison and his sort of Native American vibe. Now, you don't wear in-ear monitors on stage, is that
No.
true? So how does that feed into this whole thing you're trying to create and keeping the audience feeling on the edge of danger but not? And how does that work for you?
Nice, look them in the eyes. That's it. You feel them. You feel the presence of the audience, but above all else, it's eye contact. Because it's the and body language and exhorting people to do things and this kind of thing I do with when I sing, the visualization of the songs. So I see the images, even if it's not my song. I still have to create an image in my head in order to really animate the words and things. I'm sure that people see that reflected in you from a distance. It's like somebody's got a very charismatic person. You can look at them from a distance and go, I don't know what he's saying, but there's some presence coming out of there, and that's the sort of thing that happens. With big places, the challenge is how you project outwards and bring people inwards. Because when you're in a small club, yeah, it's a small club. Ironically, you can play very badly in a small club, make loads of mistakes, and nobody will care or notice. You go and put that in a theatre, and now put that in a big arena, and one tiny bum note, everybody goes, oh my God, did you hear that? Oh, they suck, So that's the irony of it, that the bigger the place, the smaller the mistakes get noticed. Or the bigger the place, the more accurate you have to be. You'd imagine it would be the other way around. Conversely, in the intimate surroundings of a club, you can overwhelm loads of technical mistakes simply by being there as close as I am to you as a human being. That presence is overwhelming, and it overwhelms technical mistakes in music and all kinds of things. But when you on stage a long way away, you have this artificiality there. There's the distance, and there's the security people and the pit and all the rest of it, and you have to be able to project. And it's difficult to describe exactly how you do it, but the way I think about it is it's like I have a little, I kind of like have a internal weather balloon that I blow up, and if you blow up a big balloon, it will eventually touch everybody in the room, and then it's a very big room, and you have to blow it up, and eventually it touches everybody at a bigger distance. And when you get more practiced at doing that, you can blow it right the way back to a stadium, and that takes quite a lot of energy to do that, like emotional energy, and you get really good at the 1,000-yard stare, and there's a few tricks you can do as well, like little sort of like almost vaudeville type tricks, where that if you look over there, they're going to look back at you. And then you sort of go, get your hands out of your pockets. And you see all these people going, and you say, yeah, you. And you go, hello. And they all go. And suddenly all these people are waving, and all the people around them look at them going, and they go, yeah, and you. And so suddenly, the way in the distance, all these people are pulled in. everybody can see them being pulled in because they go, who's he pointing at? And they look and they see them being pulled in. And suddenly you're just folding all these people in and you're joining them together. So they're all paying attention to each other because of what you're doing. And if you've ever, don't do this, you'll probably be arrested. But if you're on a beach and you're a guy and you want to go and, stare very hard at a very attractive young lady about 150 yards away, just stare. She's got her back turned to you. I guarantee you, she will look and go, you asshole. Really? How does she know? Because we sense it. You get the information that somebody is staring at you. It might not even be information from you because you're not looking at them, but it might be you sense other people's reaction to them looking at you and you go, somebody's looking at me. And eye contact, we're so good at spotting it from miles away. And we can body language and things like that. And it's just something that the only way to use that skill and to acquire it is to be on stage and just do it and do it and do it and do it in bigger places and bigger places and bigger places. And it's one of the reasons why I think bands or artists that come up through video, they've done video, or they're male models, or they're whatever, or they're and they look wonderful in photo sessions, and yeah, of course they're gorgeous and they're beautiful and darling, and and everything, and but you put them on a stage, and there's like as much presence of a piece of wet lettuce, and you go, no, standing there looking beautiful is not performing,
Hence the word poser.
Yeah, and so that performing comes from engaging, and it's hard work. You've got to work to do that, and audiences are brutal. I mean, they will eat you alive because they all paid good money to be entertained, and they turn up expecting to be told what to do. They may disagree with that, but actually they do. They turn up to a show and they go, I came here to be, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. What do I do now? And the band guide them. Instead of the shamanic thing, it's like you guide them, you guide them, you guide them, you guide them to a great place where they go, wow, what a great experience. Wasn't that cool? And this and that, we did this and we all sang and we all chanted and but if the guy comes on stage and goes, I'm going to stare at my shoes and it's all about me, they're going to kill you, because
And then themselves.
it's not all about it's not all about you, dude. It's about the music and it's about them. It's about the audience, and that's what I do. And then the only problem we have at the end of the show is, what do you do with this big balloon? So you take a big metaphorical pin and you go, and then I go and have a lie down in a darkened room somewhere with a beer, and just sort of go, and that's it. Up like that, down at the end of a show. And that's why I tend not to go and hang out after shows, because I can't take this big balloon with me everywhere. It'd be exhausting. You just got to let it deflate. And I normally go and so I like hotels with bars that stay open like really late, because when I get back to the hotel, I go up to my room and I sit in the shower. I've wrecked more hotel waste paper bins because there's never anywhere to sit in the shower. So I take the hotel waste paper bin, I cover it in a towel, to turn it on its upside down, sit there, cover it in a towel, because and I just sit like just with water and steam coming over me for about an hour. I just sit there for hours and just go and I go, right, okay, back to And then I go downstairs and the fucking bar's shut, you know. You know, and so that's why I'm like, you know, oh please God, you know, somewhere with a bar, because I just want 2 beers. That's all. I just want to go and sit in the corner, have 2 beers, you know, and watch something mindless on TV, you know.
And a mini bar just won't do in the room, right?
No, I don't know. Because I don't like that. No, I don't like to sit there and drink on my own. You know, even if I go downstairs and drink in a bar, I'd rather sit in a bar and drink on my own than sit in my room and drink on my own. That feels weird, you know.
I agree. I would love to go on, but I think we should. First of all, thank you. I feel like you should be a psychologist, and if you know,
That's what I need is a psychologist.
No, I think you are one. I think you are one. No, just your kind of crowd. You know, your seemingly very accurate theories on crowd, and you're like the Pied Piper ringmaster, and you do control the actions. You're the puppet master.
Oh, no, I wouldn't. No, I don't like being a puppet master because that's too controlling. You gotta let people.
You're the puppet whisperer.
No. Pied Piper's good. Pied Piper's good.
Pied Piper.
Pied Piper's good. You know, because it's, you know, it's you get the people to, you know, you get the people to dance around your maypole. You know, that's what it is.
Hey, now, let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The official Nights with Alice Cooper app is available now on iTunes and Google Play. Made especially for all of you minions.
Okay, it's time to play Go Ask Alice. You don't have to really play this. You have to just listen to it. I read your emails in your appropriate voice. This is from Greg Cunningham in Portland, Oregon. Hey, Alice, I saw you in Portland, Oregon way back in 76 or 77. I was higher than a kite on a window pane and somehow got beat up and kicked out of the show. I never found my ride, so I hitchhiked south, still high, and was beaten and robbed and left on a logging road to die. Signed, Lucky.